October Book Nook for everybody. I want to share with you one of our newer books first. This is a sneak peek at Bach's Giant Leap, a One Moon Rock's Journey Through Time and Space. This book is written by Neil Armstrong and illustrated by Graham Baker Smith. And I believe that it is published by Crown Books for Young Readers. So, Neil Armstrong, very famous astronaut, the first person to set foot on our moon. But did you know that on July the 20th, 1969, well, that was when he stepped on the moon for the first time. Skip forward several years to 2006, and NASA actually honored Neil and gave him a small moon rock that Neil had brought back from that first mission to the moon. And in the presentation, Neil spoke about all the astonishing things that this rock must have observed from the moon. And Graham Baker Smith adapted Neil's speech into this picture book that I'm holding today. The illustrations are fantastic. It starts off with, "When I was a boy, I dreamed I was high above the earth with only clouds for company. For as long as I could hold my breath, I floated. But I could not hold my breath forever. I'd wake and watch the moon drifting by my window, wondering at all it must have seen and imagining how it was made." So then Neil starts telling us about the history of the moon and how 500 million years of chaos passed, more on this page, before the moon began to quiet down. As the crust cooled, it cracked. A piece of freshened basalt broke off from a larger rock and rolled away. I call him Bach, or B-O-K. Oh, so the history of the moon that Bach observes continues and continues, and it is fantastic. Oh, full of intrigue. I think this is when the dinosaurs were on the earth and when there was an ice age on the earth, and it talks about Bach or B-O-K sleeping through these great advances in humanity. You can see some very famous figures there. And still snoozing, you might recognize that space shuttle or rocket ship. Up, and then there's Neil, so you get to see when Neil first meets the space rock and how the space rock or Bach comes to the earth. And of course, you know I love a good ENF book with a lot of back matter. And there's some more information about Earth and the moon and some photos talking about Neil and the space program and the visit to the moon. And I just love it. If you guys are interested in information about the moon, how it developed, what we know about its past, its geology and atmosphere, this is a great book to check out. The illustrations are really top notch. The next book is one of our brand newest books. It's titled I'll Go and Come Back by Rajani Laraka and illustrated by Sarah Palacios. And I really, really like this story. It's a story about a girl who goes back to India to visit her grandmother in the summer. And they have a language barrier. The grandmother doesn't speak much English and the little girl doesn't speak much Tamil. But still they're able to form a bond. There's some awkwardness at the beginning and the little girl feels lonely. The differences between where she lives in the United States of America and India, where she goes to visit her family, are just unsettling at first. And even though there's cousins and family that she loves, she feels lonely. But as the story progresses, she and her grandmother, like I said, even though it's hard to talk, they really form the sweetest bond and nurture their relationship in some amazing ways. And then, of course, it's time for the little girl's family to come back to the United States, and she's sad to leave. But when the little girl says goodbye to the grandma, her grandma says, "Will you go and come?" And then it says, "And I remember that no one in India just said goodbye. I'll go and come back," I said. And then it also has the phrase there written in Tamil. And so the next summer, her Sita Pati, her grandmother, flies to America to visit the little girl. And the same thing again, they continue to grow their relationship and bond, but this time in the United States, where the little girl and her family lives. I really, really like this story of family. And one of the things I love about living where we do is I've met several families who have extended family back in India, and I love that we have a book here for them to read about those travels and that relationship and their families. The last book today is a little bit of a promotion. It's not a new book. This is Roald Dahl's James and the Giant Peach, illustrated by Lane Smith. And I'm excited to share this book because this is the book that we are going to read for Family Book Club the last week of September and the first week of October. Little tidbit, this was the first story I think that Roald Dahl had published, or at least the first children's book that he published. It's about a little boy named James whose parents die and he's living with truly horrid ants. And then something magical happens. And he and these bugs or insects, they're not all insects, one of them's a spider, from the orchard, they grow, they develop personalities. A giant peach grows and they take off and they have some amazing adventures. I'm really excited that we're able to give a free copy of this book to the families that participate in our Family Book Club. And we are going to end Family Book Club with getting to see Red Curtain Theater, a local community theater here. They are going to be putting on a youth production of James and the Giant Peach. And so we're going to go see it. Super, super excited about that. Thank you for joining me for October's Book Nook, and I'll see you next